So this is Suleiman. Last year, he was all alone on the streets, begging for food, starving and forgotten. But now, his father and abuser are in jail. Let me just tell you about what happened. So this is Suleiman and he's 15. He's from a small village in Borno. He comes from a very poor family and he has 11 siblings, 7 brothers and 4 sisters. The situation in Borno with Boko Haram got really bad, so Suleiman's dad decided to send Suleiman and his 7 brothers to Lagos to search for a better life. He told them that he had arranged for a malam who would school them and give them a better life than their fate in Borno, but that was far from the reality. Suleiman's father gave him 2,000 naira to transport himself from Borno to Lagos. It was not nearly enough, but Suleiman didn't complain. He packed his bags and he was on his way off. When they got to Lagos, they were met with a serious cultural shock. Everything was different. The vibe, the people. Lagos was loud, chaotic and filled with thugs and beggars. The hustle was real. When Suleiman finally got in touch with Malam Umar, the man his father said would take care of them, things quickly went south. What was described as a school turned out to be something entirely different. The hostel dorm was filthy and crowded with over 500 boys. There were barely any beds. The room was hot, smelly and infested with bedbugs. The air reeked of sweat and suffering. And the food? Nothing to write home about. They were giving food once a day. Sloppy, tasteless eba with palm oil. And the days they got lucky, they were able to share 2 eggs among 7 brothers. This wasn't a school. It was a child exploitation camp disguised as a Quranic boarding house. Malam Umar wasn't teaching them anything. He turned the helpless boys into almajiris, sending them on the streets every day with plates to beg for food and money. And at the end of the day, they were to render all the money they had gotten back. Suleiman couldn't cope. Within weeks, he was on the streets begging all day, washing car windows in traffic and sleeping under the bridge. This wasn't the life he wanted, but he had no choice. So one rainy evening, Mrs. Ann, a Cece Yara staff, was driving back home from work and there was serious traffic. Suddenly, Suleiman appeared by her window. He didn't just look hungry, he looked broken, soaked in rain, shivering and desperate.
Auntie, please, I never chop anything today. Please, auntie, give me 50 naira.
Mrs. Ann looked at him. Something in her heart cracked. She rolled down the window and asked, "What is your name?"
Suleiman.
How old are you?
Auntie, I'm 15.
A tear rolled down her cheek. She told him to get into the car. In the car, Suleiman broke down and told her everything. How his father sent him and his brothers from Borno, how Malam Umar's school was a lie and he barely ate anything and slept on the streets. Miss Ann's heart shattered, but her mind was focused. She knew exactly what to do. She took Suleiman home, let him shower for the first time in weeks and served him hot amala with gbegiri. Suleiman was so happy. He couldn't remember the last time he had eaten real food. That night, he slept in peace. The next morning, Mrs. Ann told Suleiman to come with his brothers to the Cece Yara child shelter to file a report. Suleiman went back to Malam Umar's school. When he saw his brothers, he cried and hugged them. Suleiman told them, "One nice auntie has come to save us. Come with me." So Suleiman gathered his brothers and together they made their way to Cece Yara's Child Advocacy Center to file their reports. At Cece Yara, after they got settled, they received emotional support, counseling and legal guidance. But Cece Yara didn't just stop there. Mrs. Ann gave a vow that she would carry this matter on her head. Within days, Cece Yara filed a formal petition against Malam Umar for child exploitation and endangerment. The police launched a full investigation. Malam Umar's school was shut down and he was arrested. So na crime be this? Yes. According to section 30 sub 2A of the Child Rights Act, it is illegal to use any child for the purpose of begging for alms, and its punishment is 10 years in prison. Section 33 of the Act also criminalizes child exploitation, and its punishment is 5 years in prison, a 500k fine, or both. In court, Malam Umar's charges stuck. He was found guilty on all charges and sentenced to 15 years in prison. But it didn't end there. Cece Yara sent a legal team to Borno State and filed a separate petition against Suleiman's father for child neglect, child abandonment, and child exploitation. He was arrested and convicted to 15 years in prison. Today, Suleiman and his brothers are in safe hands. Cece Yara sponsored their full education. They now attend proper schools, eat well, sleep safely, and no longer live under the shame of their almajiri past. Child abuse is wrong. In Nigeria, especially in the northern states, many children fall victim to child abuse disguised as culture through systems like the almajiri network. The almajiri system was once a notable pursuit for Islamic knowledge, but today it has degenerated into a cycle of exploitation where young boys are sent under the pretense of education only to end up abandoned, starved, and forced into begging. According to UNICEF, over 10 million children in Nigeria are out of schools, and many of them are almajiris, just like Suleiman, boys left to survive on the streets. This is not religion, this is not culture, this is child endangerment, child abuse, and exploitation. Under Nigerian law, every child has rights. Rights to basic education, right to shelter, right to dignity, and the list goes on. And when any of these rights are violated, there are serious consequences. Know the law and the crime, because ignorance isn't an excuse. If you or someone you know is going through abuse, abandonment, or exploitation, don't keep quiet. Speak up. Reach out to the Cece Yara Child Advocacy Center. Together, let's end child abuse.